Okay, so I am going to show you how to create a listing packet using Transaction Desk and Authentisign instead of zip forms and DocuSign. So the first thing you're going to do is go into the MLS. I need to log into the system and go to Matrix over here. If you already have this open, you can go straight to your Instanet Transaction Desk, which is listed over here as an external link. I'm going to click on that. And now you'll have a dashboard that has several of these boxes, and all of these can be reorganized by clicking this little unlock dashboard here. If I click this lock, then I can move these things around. Once I get them placed in the direction and the order that I want them in, I hit the lock button again, and now they're frozen so that when I go onto my iPad, they'll be in the same exact configuration. So I want to add a new listing agreement packet because I'm about to go to a listing appointment perhaps, and I want to have everything in one place. So I'm going to hit create transaction here. And I'm going to put a last name, and I'm going to use our old address just for example purposes. So I'm going to put the last name and the address, and the template here, I'm going to hit the listings house listing packet. And I have created the templates for you, so you should be able to select them and have most everything filled out already. Now, as far as the import data, make sure on the listing that you select realist. If you're representing a buyer, you won't have to do this. You'll stick with the Netris, but for a listing, you'll hit realist. And then it's going to ask you to fill in the tax information. So the accounting is Parker. And the tax ID, I have to look up in the tax records. So I'm going to look that up really quick and enter the tax ID here. And hit create. Now it brings up the first page in the wizard, and most of this is automatically pre-populated. So all I have to do is select property type as residential and hit next. And then the list date, I'm going to go ahead and put today. And the expiration date, I'll go ahead and put next June. That's all I need to fill out on this page. I will hit next. All the parties are automatically pulled in from Realist. Notice it shows me as the listing agent, and it's got the sellers here. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to keep the forms that I plan to use and delete the forms that I don't want. So it will automatically pull every form and document in our template that we plan to use. I don't need the lead-based paint. So I'm going to select these three dots over here and hit delete. Yes. And I know that they don't own minerals, so I'm going to go ahead and delete the mineral reservation. I'm going to hit these three dots, delete, yes. So you're going to keep all the forms that are here and delete the ones you don't need. If you have to add another form for some reason, you can hit this plus button here and then search for anything. Say you know that they're in a mud district or they're in a flood zone. I can type in the word flood, and everything pertaining to that word will pop up here, and I can just select it and it will add it to my forms. But most everything is here already, so I'm going to hit next. These are all of our company disclosures and consumer notices automatically in the template. So now I'm just going to hit done. It brings me back to the dashboard. So now what I need to do is fill out my forms. So I'm going to go to my listing agreement first. I'm going to select it. And you'll notice that most everything is already pre-populated for you. I just need to fill in any of the missing blanks. So I'm going to go through, and I notice that the subdivision is not listed here. And they have no exclusions to my knowledge, but I'm taking this to the listing appointment. So if I don't know the answers to all of these questions, I can leave it blank. So it isn't an HOA, but I don't know what we're going to list at yet. This is just preparing the paperwork so that I can go to the listing appointment and have everything ready. I also happen to know that it is in Parker and not Tarrant County. All of this is filled out automatically. All the potential financing options are here. So again, I'm just scrolling through to make sure everything that needs to be filled out is filled out. Anything I need to add, I can add here. They are not a foreign person. So I'm going to hit File, Save, Save. Now I'm going to go to the next form by hitting File, Open. And I can fill out each of these one by one. This one in the template is already filled out for the most part. So all you have to do is check to make sure it's completed and then add your information here and then hit File, Save, Save. And then File, Open Form, and go to the next, which is the key box authorization. And here is where I put the Supra box number. This is for my own reference, so that while I'm at the listing appointment, I remember to put the information in here. And the tenants are the seller. So I'm going to put seller 1 and seller 2, their real name. I'm not going to do it right now. And hit File, Save, Save. File, Open Form. And I'm just going to go through again each of these forms one by one. The information about on-site sewer, I give to them with the seller's disclosure. This is something they need to fill out if they have an aerobic or an anaerobic system. Again, I wouldn't know this information, so I'm going to leave it with them. So I'm going to hit File, Save, Save, File, Open Form. The T47, most of this is filled out already. Again, we're just filling out the bare bone details to create the packet so that we can take this packet with us to the listing appointment. So I'm going to go ahead and put the date, and I can add their names. And here I put the address of the property. This form is used if the sellers have a current existing paper copy of the survey and they have not made changes to any of the structural footprint of the property. They moved in 2016 and they have not made any structural changes. If they had added a pool and they put added pool and that's not on the survey, they would likely need to get a new one. And you're just going to enter their names here. They're going to have to get this notarized unless you are a notary. Then you can notarize it while you're there at the house. File, Save, Save. File, Open Form. Seller's disclosure, they'll fill out at the listing appointment. The RDIF form is something that I carry around with me while the photographer is there. This is where I input all of the exact measurements of each room and all of the features that the property has and does not have, like whether it's got a linen closet and a separate shower, the measurements of all the rooms, any interior and exterior features. These are all things that you need to fill out and check with the seller live while you're there. Complete this form. file, save, save, file, open form. This authorization to furnish TILA RESPA disclosures, this allows you to be real intimate in all the details of the transaction with title and any lender. It's basically like HIPAA. The seller is giving you permission to work with them and all parties involved to get the transaction to close. File, save, save, file, open form. And the very last one is just a general information and notice to buyers and sellers. We don't necessarily have to fill anything out here. Again, you're just getting your listing packet ready to go. So notice if you go to the very end, it's got the seller's information here. This is like a glossary of real estate terms. File, I've finished all of these forms. If I look back, all of these I've filled out the way I need to. So I'm going to hit close. Now I'm going to go File, Exit, and I'm back to my dashboard. And now I need to move over to these documents. These documents are things that we provide to prospective buyers and our sellers that are charitable realty specific. So I don't need to do anything with them right now. They're not forms that I can fill out. They're PDFs, basically. So now I want to create my packet. So I'm going to go to Start Signing. And again, I'm going to name this transaction and hit Save. I'm going to go to my participants, and I'm just going to have myself sign right now as a remote signer, because what I'm doing again is creating a packet that I can take with me to the house at the listing appointment. Hit Add. So here I am as a signer. Now I'm going to hit my documents. I'm going to select every single one here because I removed in the very beginning the ones I didn't need, and I have here listed the ones I'm keeping. So now I will hit Add. And it's going to compile all of the forms and the documents into one file. And now I can make sure that my signature placeholder is in the correct position on each page. And like DocuSign, I can drag and drop anything that I might need into documents, and I'll show you that next. So here, all of the forms are listed. If for some reason I wanted to change around the order of them, I can just click on one of these arrow buttons on the right side of this and move these backwards and forwards. Now I'm going to go to the design, which is the very last step. And it's a 52-page document, so it's going to take just a moment. Now here are all of the pages that have been filled out, and notice it's got my initials in all of the listing agent spaces. And the reason I'm doing this now is so that I don't have to sign in front of them at the house, and it's going to compile all of this again into one nice document that I can put into a folder and take with me to the house. So I'm just going to make sure that all of the spaces that need my signature are filled out. Notice here's one that's missing. So just like DocuSign, I'm going to hit drag and drop and put sign here and go through these others and make sure I don't need to sign any of these documents, which I do not. Now here's the CSS form. Say that I wanted to prepare as much as possible, I can hit these check boxes here and fill some of this information out early in advance. So I'm not doing this all when I'm in the house, but the rest of it can be filled out when you're there. Say that I wanted to add our office site ID and my name. I can fill all that out now. Here's the consumer notices about wire fraud, the package about why they should list with us. School districts, if I want to add the property address now, I can just do that here. Anything you can do in advance makes you look more prepared. And that's everything. So now I'll hit next. And then send. And this is going to send an invitation to my email to sign the listing packet. Now remember, I'm just signing myself so that I can print out a beautiful copy and put it in a folder and take it with me to the listing appointment. So I'm going to go into my Gmail and wait for an Authentisign to pop in. And it's kind of slow. It might take a few minutes. So I'm going to clean up my email while we're sitting here. And we're still waiting for the Authentisign invitation to sign email. Here it is, Authentisign invitation to review and sign documents. So I'm going to click here. Remember, you're sending it to yourself, and you're going to click the pen. And again, we're going to wait for this 52-page document to open up. So that we have a nice clean copy to take with us to the listing appointment. It's just a lot easier than zip forms, I think. Once you get used to this, you can have all of your listing documents prepared in about 10 minutes. The longest part is this waiting. So here is now in one PDF, the entire listing agreement and all the supplemental documents that we use. So I'm going to start signing. So I'm going to click this start right here. And it's going to take me to each space where I have an initial placeholder. I'm going to initial all of my piece of this listing packet. And here I'm going to check these required boxes. Our office ID is, oh my goodness, Charitable 00 Fort Worth. I'm going to select these boxes that I put in ahead of time. I'm going to type in the address and hit next. And now there's nothing else for me to do. So I'm going to hit complete and yes, complete. And now it says, thank you for using Authentisign. I'm going to go back into my email and wait for that Authentisign to show up. And again, it's going to take a few minutes. It's a large document, but I have signed it. I'm just waiting for notice that it has been signed, and then I'll get a second email with the final PDF document in it. So here it's just saying the document was accepted. There's signing action that's taken place. So I'm going to wait now for my final email from Authentisign showing that it's been completed and signed, and then I can print from there. Come on, baby. Tick tock, tick tock. So again, we're just waiting for our final document to appear. so that we can print it out and put it in our beautiful folder and take it with us to the house. Here it is, signing final revision. If I click here, it tells me that Authentisign has been successfully reviewed and signed by all parties. If I click here, where it says click here, it's going to download the listing agreement onto my computer. So if you notice, I'm going to open this file and it's going to have my signed copy of the entire listing packet ready to print and take with me to the appointment. So from here, I can hit File, Print, and I have everything I need. I can organize it however I wish. I can have the seller sign while I'm there in the house, fill out my RDIF with the photographer, or however that works best for you. But everything is here, ready to print in one PDF file. Now, if I go back into my Matrix Instanet Authentisign Transaction Desk link, if I click here, here's the other thing I love about Authentisign. If I hit my home button on my dashboard that takes me to all of my transactions, and I click on the one that we just made for this listing appointment, if I go to the signings bar right here, and I click on the transaction signings, it will have every single file, page by page. If I wanted to print them each separately, all I have to do is click on it, download it. So not only do I get a final version, but I also get each page, and it's stored in the transaction in MLS. So here it is all filled out. And if I wanted to, I could view it as a PDF and print that separately also. So that's the beauty of Transaction Desk, is you don't need to pay for zip forms and DocuSign. It can all be done in one position, one place, and create a beautiful file that you can download and print and take with you to the listing appointment. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoy. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.